Today, we are digging into the dusty corners of the internet to unearth some truly bizarre, hilarious, and ultimately obscure fails from the computer industry. Let's dig in. Apple Newton could not read. The Newton message pad. The Newton was ahead of its time, designed to be a personal digital assistant. Apple included a feature that allowed users to input data by writing on the screen, which the Newton was supposed to translate into text. It was a groundbreaking idea, but the execution was hilarious. The handwriting recognition was notoriously bad. It frequently misinterpreted words, turning simple sentences into nonsensical gibberish. The technology simply was not ready. The Newton was trying to do something complex with primitive hardware. Apple hyped this feature heavily, promising seamless communication. Instead, users were left frustrated, trying to teach a machine how to write. It became a running joke, famously mocked in The Simpsons, where a note to beat up Martin was interpreted as eat up Martha. Habitat of exploding heads. In the late 1980s, before World of Warcraft or even the modern internet, there was Habitat, an early online graphical world hosted on the Commodore 64. It was innovative, but things got weird fast. The creators wanted a way for users to unalive their avatars in the game. They introduced a feature called the exploding head. Players could type a specific command, and their avatar's head would pop goes the weasel. The game designers forgot to implement a proper consequence or limitation for this action. Instead of just being a fun Easter egg, players realized they could use this to grief others. If you were being chased by a bad guy, you could simply explode your head and disappear, ruining the gameplay for others. It was a bizarre, self-destructive loophole that turned Habitat into a chaotic mess until the developers patched it. HP really stands for high-priced. This one is less about software and more about ludicrous hardware decisions. Back in the early 2000s, Hewlett-Packard, HP, launched the HP Castor printer. The printer itself was cheap, practically a throwaway item. But the ink cartridges were incredibly expensive and contained tiny amounts of ink. The real kicker? HP designed the printer in a way that prevented third-party cartridges from working. HP was trying to use a predatory business model, sell the hardware at a loss, and make all the money on the consumables. It angered customers. People realized that it was often cheaper to buy a brand new HP Castor printer, which came with a starter cartridge, than it was to buy a replacement ink cartridge for the printer they already owned. The sheer audacity of the pricing structure turned the product into a punchline. Internet on the tube, Web TV. Before we had smart TVs, Microsoft tried to bridge the gap between the internet and your living room with Web TV in the late 90s. Web TV. This was a set-top box that let you browse the internet using your television and a remote control. It was clunky, slow, and designed for dial-up speeds. The basic user experience was terrible. Trying to read dense web pages designed for a computer monitor on a low resolution, CRT television screen with a remote control was agonizing. It ignored how people actually use both the internet and television. It was the worst of both worlds. The internet was not designed for a passive viewing experience on a TV, and Web TV delivered a sluggish, frustrating interface that quickly became irrelevant as broadband internet and personal computers improved. Trackball? You mean VACball? Our final fail is a tribute to the early days of input devices. Before optical mice were standard, we had trackball mice. While trackballs are still around, some early designs were uniquely flawed. Some early trackball mice, like the Commodore 1350, used a large, heavy ball that needed constant cleaning. Dust, lint, and grime from the desk would collect inside the mechanism. The design required the trackball to be used on a flat surface, collecting all the ambient debris, which would clog the internal sensors and rollers. The mouse would become unresponsive or erratic after only a short period of use. Users had to frequently unscrew the bottom of the mouse and manually clean out the gunk to get it working again. It was a maintenance nightmare that made computing far more tedious than it needed to be. It just goes to show that even the brightest minds can make some truly baffling decisions. What's the strangest tech fail you've ever encountered? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more history and fails. See you next time.